Yo, people, what's going on? Back again with another Footy Talk. Savas in the building. How's it going, my guy?
All good, mate. All good. Yes. Very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm not too bad. Not too bad at all, man. Not too bad. It's Monday. And yeah, everyone's getting on with their life. Like City won the treble and no one cares already. Do you know what I mean? It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, my TikTok, though, is literally just full of Jack Grealish videos of him posting different places around the world where he's been drinking and celebrating and singing, which is quite funny. But yeah, listen, if life moves quickly. You know, Pep kind of tells them, doesn't he, immediately, like, go and celebrate, and then we start at zero. So, hey,
Jack Grealish is the greatest footballer to ever live. Like, it's one of them ones. Like, even people saying Jack's getting more attention than the treble. Listen, Jack Grealish, he's everyone in it. Like, I think in a society now where people view footballers as like out of touch, like multi-millionaires that they're just completely out of touch with reality. Jack Grealish is probably like the most normal footballer that you could ever like find on planet Earth, innit? Like, and I think there's something about him. Like, I don't know, I don't care who you support, that there's no way you cannot love this guy.
Yeah, he's so down to earth. I said this morning to somebody that I feel like he's Gascoigne. I'm not talking about the ability.
He is 100%.
Gaza was Gaza, but his interviews, his press match conferences, like, he just has a laugh. Like, he was sitting there going to Thierry Henry, like, Thierry, look, do you think you could have taken on Kyle Walker? And it was just really good to see that kind of
No other footballer probably asked him that, but you know what it is with Jack here? He's just like, he almost behaves like he can't believe he's there, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? He's just like, whatever. This is Thierry Henry. I might not get the opportunity to ask him this again. Like, Kyle Walker's right here. Let me just ask him. Like, he's almost like he's a fan, but he's not a fan. He's Jack Grealish. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's mad. He's a very, very normal guy. Like, you know what I mean? And I see an interview with him, and he was talking about Erling Haaland, and he was like, yeah, this guy like counts every calorie on his plate, all these things. He's like, listen, I just want to go out and have a drink. Like, I could never be like him, and I don't want to be like him. Do you know what I mean? He's very comfortable about who he is in it and what he is, and I've got so much time for that.
Yeah, listen, I think he is living what I think every one of us would want, right? He really seems grateful that he is a footballer. I think he has matured really well in the last 3 or 4 years. The more I hear about his upbringing as well, like his brother died when they were little. You know, his sister's got cerebral palsy. Like, and the videos you see going around, he makes time for everyone. And listen, he is what we'd all. Well, I'd like to think that's what I would be like if I was an England footballer, right? I'd like to think I'm that and not so far up my own backside that no one likes me. But hey. Yeah, I like him. I like Jack Grealish. We could have had him. Years ago.
You could have.
You didn't want to pay 5 million.
Yeah, and it was, you could have got him for like 15 million or something like that, innit? Something
like 20 or something. Yeah, just ridiculous. But yeah, listen, that's the history of Spurs. And yeah, but look, I felt that again the other night. I thought it was quite a difficult first half for him. I didn't think they moved the ball quick enough to him. Every time he got the ball, it was slowly, and he was doubled up on.
We have to give Simeone credit, but also, like, this sounds strange, innit? But I think that Pep was extremely lucky, you know, in that game, because I think tactically he got a lot of things wrong and he got away with it. I think you saw when he took off John Stones, in the second half, and brought on Kyle Walker, City conceded about 3 chances where Ederson made a couple saves. The one hit the bar, one hit Lukaku. Ederson made a save. They could have lost that game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was an interesting game for me. I think that, look, let's be really, really honest. Inzaghi went there with the intention of, we are shutting up shop, and that's how you've got to play against City. The problem is most teams that do that against City don't have the defensive solidity that Inter Milan have. They have that unit. A Serbi, for example, I thought was absolutely sensational. But look, I think I think that would have stunned City. They weren't able to get their normal passing game going. They had too many bodies. Second half, I just felt they upped it a tiny bit after the break. And I thought that Bernardo Silva and Grealish started to drag the team further forward on the wings. And eventually, that's how the goal came, from Bernardo Silva running the channels and pulling back. But it was a close final. It was a very good 15 minutes. But what I will say is this. What I give credit to Inter Milan for is also the downfall. And what I mean by that is, for that tactic to work, it's brilliant when it works. Like, it's brilliant. For 75 minutes, it works. Yes. The moment you concede, all of a sudden, it's like, we've not really been attacking here. What are we going to do? And to be fair, when Lukaku came on, as much as he missed a few chances, he mixed it up. He rattled City, I think. I thought he was better for Inter Milan. So
yeah, he gives them a different look, because when you've got Edin Dzeko, you don't have to worry about movement in behind. And the thing is, Inter didn't really create much. But this is what I was saying. Like, at halftime, I said, if you're the managers, you're more happy if you're Simeone. Inzaghi, sorry. However, if you're Pep, you're looking at the two teams and you're thinking, I trust my players more than his players to make something happen. You know, so even though you're happier as the Inter manager, Pep, you're more comfortable. So it was one of them things where it was a very interesting game, but I feel like Pep definitely got away with one in that game, because I don't think that they won the game because he coached a great game. I feel like they won the game because they had better players. That's what I believe. Because when I look at tactically, like from the first 15, 20 minutes, like I was like, yo, like Inter have matched them up really well here. Players like Grealish, the reason why Grealish wasn't getting a lot of space is because tactically they got it spot on. Do you know what I mean? And it was like they matched them up formation-wise. They didn't give them any space. And I thought, in order for Pep to manufacture some space, you probably need fullbacks overloading to kind of give the wide players a bit of help, because in 1v1s Bernardo was getting zero change on the other side, nothing at all. Do you know what I mean? And Jack was getting nothing, so they almost needed decoy runners, which they weren't getting. And when De Bruyne came off and Foden started making runs in the middle, he started to stretch them. Do you know what I mean? So you started seeing different, it was more the personnel, but tactically I felt like, on another day, man, like the one that hits the bar, the one that Lukaku blocks, and then also Edison made a really good save from a corner right at the end. I think he tipped one over. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, Lukaku blocked one, Lukaku headed one straight at him, and then he tipped one over as well. Like, they could have conceded 3 goals and lost the game.
They could have. I mean, listen, playing devil's advocate, there were chances for City. You know, Haaland should have scored. Phil Foden had a couple of chances through on goal. Look, I think you're right, though. I think that sometimes in those moments and in those big games, that's when the better players stand out. And that goal was a good goal. It was a really good goal. And I just feel that Inter, as I said, brilliant tactically, but did they quite have enough in open play to break down City? No. But listen, what a very good performance it was. But you know what? I don't think City or Pep will care, right? It got the monkey off the back. They've got the treble. Everyone has written them off this season. Everyone talking about how Haaland has made them worse. And
to be fair, he was anonymous in that game again. Like, I was saying, I would have taken him off. And people were saying, oh, you can't take Haaland off because he's always a goal threat. He is, but I feel like different games suit different types of players. And the way that Inter defended well, I thought it wasn't a game for him. It wasn't a game for De Bruyne, and it was more a game for the intricate players. This is where you see the likes of Bernardo, the likes of Foden, the likes of Grealish. These guys come into their own when there's not a lot of space to play in it. And this is why
taking off John in tight areas.
Exactly. That's why taking off John Stones I thought was a big mistake, because he was immense. And no one's talking about this guy. If Declan Rice is worth 100 million, then John Stones is worth 200 million right now, because this guy is playing some unbelievable football.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just quickly on the Haaland thing, I think that's one thing that he will learn. I think sometimes we forget he is 22. I think he will learn that in those games where they've got 3 top quality centre-halves, 2 to 3 holding midfielders in front of that, he will then learn how he finds his space, how he does. I don't think he's used to that. I don't think many teams in the Premier League have played that way against them. But with regards to John Stones, what a player. Technically, he's fantastic. And I actually saw a video popped up yesterday on Instagram or whatever it was of Pep Guardiola talking about John Stones back in 2017, 2016. I'm not sure which one of them. And it was when John Stones was getting so much stick, and Pep was asked in a press conference whether or not he feels that he made a mistake, whether John Stones is good enough. And he turned around and was like, watch this guy. He said, this guy is technically brilliant. He said, yes, he's going to make mistakes. He went, because that's my fault. He said, that's my fault. I ask a lot from my centre halves. Playing for me as a centre half is not easy. They're going to make mistakes. But you look, Rants, the development of John Stones in the last 5 years has been sensational, to the point where Laporte and Diaz were it. That was it. That was the back two. Then all of a sudden, Stones was in and didn't lose his place again. Like, I think he's a wonderful footballer. He's the best defender
but this
in
is
England.
what I'm saying. And this is why, this is why for me, Pep is the greatest. Do you know what I mean? This is why Pep is the greatest. And this is not even shade, but I heard Sir Alex Ferguson say something similar about Phil Jones. And look how they both turned out, innit? Phil Jones and John Stones. When it comes to identifying a player, and what Pep could turn these men into, he said that Phil Jones was going to be England captain and all these things. And look at Phil Jones, innit? And then Pep's come out 6 years ago saying, yo, like, look out for this kid, and look what the fuck he's done. Like, do you know what I mean? It's mad to me. It's mad to me when I look at Pep Guardiola, and his player development and his player ID and all these other things and everything that he's done. This guy's a monster, innit? Like, and the thing is, like, I haven't seen as many managers as Pep Guardiola make players what they are. Like I was saying to my brother, that like fantastic. Pep is the kind of manager, that will players that you don't rate, he'll have you rating them, and you're just like, what has this guy done? Like, there's nothing. I watched John Stones at Everton. There was nothing about the John Stones that was making all those mistakes at centre back that made me think that he could be one of the best holding midfielders in the league. There's nothing about it. There's nothing about it.
I think a lot of it as well is, look, we've had this conversation before. There's a lot of talk whenever Pep Guardiola has mentioned about the money he spends, but lots of clubs over the years, if you add up, spend loads and loads of money, some more than Pep. What Pep never gets credit for, though, is he signed so many players that people doubt. Like fans, we all go, oh my God, he signed that player. They then evolve and we go, yeah, but he just buys good players. And it's like, well, hang on. You will
like
doubt
someone
him.
put in the chat, Pep probably hasn't signed an already world-class player.
Doesn't.
People can say, oh, Erling Haaland and that, cool. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at the likes that he brings in, it's like when he brings them in at the time, people aren't like, holy shit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not that. Like, even the Akanji signing, the Ake signing. I remember when Manchester United were linked with Ake and at Bournemouth, and I said I liked him. Loads of people were saying he was too short. Yep. Loads of people were saying he's overrated, all of these other things. Nathan Ake has arguably been one of City's top three players this season. Doesn't get any credit for it. Brilliant. And he looks so good in that team. Do you know what I mean? And this guy said, I Rants, you need a blue jersey. You know what's funny, Hey, you know what's funny? God. I'm not gonna sit here, One thing I'm not gonna do, is sit here and pretend, that I don't look at what Man City do in admiration. Because I'm someone that owns a club myself, innit? And I'm in the process right now of trying to change the culture, I'm change the culture at my club and bring a winning culture and a winning mentality to my club. Obviously, they've won stuff before, but it's never been done properly. What City are doing right now, I look at in pure admiration, bro, regardless of who I support, because they're the best run club in the world, undisputedly, in terms of how they do things. When you look at what they use, exactly. When you see what their youth team are doing right now, all the way up, they're winning everything. All the way up, and you think but it's not just the first team. People talk about how much money they spend. They ain't spend as much as us. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're miles better than us. So I'm not going to pretend that I don't admire what City are doing. They've got the best manager in the world, undisputed. They've got the best squad, 1 to 20 in the world, undisputed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They play some of the best football in the world, and I'm about to sit here and pretend that I can't see it.
Yeah, Rants, how many times have you and I sat here and said tribalism is worse than it ever was in football? Tribalism. Yeah. By the way, just in case, if anyone keeps seeing a person pop up, my stalker that follows me around channel to channel having a go at me is in the chat. So much love. I'll blow a kiss. I won't say the name.
I'm sure one of my mods will block them anyway soon.
Yeah, so it's absolutely fine. The funny thing about it is this: is if you look at it right. You've got John Stones that people said was a massive flop. Now everyone's raving about him. Nathan Ake. I remember last summer saying, God, if Ake's available, I would love Spurs to get him. Oh, he's not good enough. Look, he hasn't done it. Right. Now look at Ake. Alvarez at 15 million. Akanji at 15 million. Phil Foden is from the youth team. Right. You know, the players like Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, when he buys those players, they're always that next level down, the run down from the Mbappes, from the Messis, from the... And what he doesn't do, though, he doesn't just go and buy a top name for the sake of it. They have to fit his ethos. They have to run through brick walls for him. And this is why there are players that year after year after year keep winning. You don't keep winning titles if players aren't hungry. You don't keep winning titles if players won't run through brick walls for their manager. Right? You don't play that football that Pep Guardiola instills just by spending money. You spend that by installing it must be, I reckon he must be the best and worst person to work with ever, because he must be in them all training session, every training session. Every pass that's wrong, every time someone hasn't marked their man, he is there peppering them. And that commitment is phenomenal. Somebody in chat said Foden ain't it for me. I mean, I'd love.
Listen, each to their own. Yeah, you know what I mean, each to their own.
Class, isn't he? I would
love. Foden's different gravy. Do you know what I mean? He's different gravy, man. And also, I know that Pep didn't buy Kevin De Bruyne. I never said he did. He also didn't buy David Silva. He also didn't buy Raheem Sterling. There's a lot of players that he inherited. Do you know what I mean? That's got nothing to do with anything. Do you know what I mean? The point is, this is probably the third team that he's onto building right now. You know what I mean? And they've all won trophies. So. Like, I don't know. And like someone said, all Man City's under 18s, under 21s, and first team have all three-peated. And you guys think that this is not some serious organization that we're talking about. Yeah. Like, don't sleep on what they're doing right now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not about to sit here and pretend that what they're doing is not admirable because I support a rival team, bro. Like, I look at their club in awe of what they're doing and wish that my club was run like that. Well, I'm going to sit here and pretend that I don't see what's going on.
I think one of the key things that people need to remember is not just what he's done. You know, him, I always get this guy's name, Tiggy Birkenstein.
Yeah.
Him and is it Soriano, the other one there as well. Yeah. When you look at what they've done in the time they've been at Man City, it's not just what they've done in the first team. It is what they have implemented from the age of under 10s to the first team. Every year they will bring through players. You look at these players. It happened with Foden. Foden was getting a few games. Now look how many games he's played in the last 4 or 5 years and has 14 major honours at the age of 22. Right? You look, it will slowly start. Rico Lewis has started to play more and more games. Cole Palmer's now started to play more and more games. Right? There will the guy they've just loaned out to. The guy they loaned out last year to Burnley, Harewood Bewlis. He'll come into that first team in some capacity next season if he's not loaned out and start getting games. It is what is coming from the underbelly of Man City is as good as what they're doing in the first team, and this is the worry. This isn't like a club that just build a team for now and then it all goes away and then they have to spend another 3 years rebuilding.
Sure.
And which is what some clubs have done. This is a club that have got a model that if they keep this up and if they keep Pep, Man City for the next 5-10 years could win everything over and over and over again.
100%. And Bergistan actually played in the same team as Pep Guardiola at Barcelona. So when they brought him in, upstairs at Man City before Pep came in, they brought him in knowing that Pep was coming, bro. Like everything at City's been purpose built and it's been modeled on what they were doing at Barcelona anyway. So if you want to be a top club, then you replicate a top club, and that's exactly what they've done. So like, bro, like you can only be in awe of what they're doing. I always said that at Manchester United. It's like if you want to be the best, like, you know what I mean, if you want to be a club that plays good football, that brings through youth and all of that, why don't you go to Ajax and go and get Edwin van der Sar back? Why don't you go do that? Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of having these bums that we've got at Manchester United that they're trying to sell to me, go and get Edwin back. If you want to do the whole ex-Man United thing, that's fine. Go get him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Go get him and go bring in a proper director of football. But these guys don't want to do things the proper way. Man City have done it the proper way. And I'm supposed to sit here and watch these guys annihilate everyone and pretend that it's by accident, bro. Like they just stumbled, like they're getting lucky, bro. They're not getting lucky.
I listen, I think there's a lot of admiration for what they do. The fact as well that they have so many good young players that they sell some. Like Lavia went, I know he's got a release, a buyback clause, but Lavia went to Southampton, a wonderful player. Most other Premier League clubs, that boy's coming through the youth team and going into the first team. Man City have just got such a wealth of talent that they are, okay, they're bringing in players that they're buying, but not only that, they've got the youth behind it, but also Rants, the third strain of this. I don't think people realize how much money Man City make from player sales.
Yeah.
If you look at them in the last few years, they are selling a lot of players for money. That, you know, if they sell Cancelo this summer, for example, they're talking about 70 million for a bloke that midway through the season, Pep goes, all right, you don't want to be here? All right, see you later.
Sure.
And everyone going, oh my God, they've got no left back. Right? That is a club that is superior.
Dude, them man, like someone said, they rolled up in the final with no fullback, you know, and they had 4 centre backs on the pitch, 1 in midfield. Like, come on, bro. Like, all right, let's pretend that this is normal. It's not normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like someone said here in the chat, like that's what Arsenal are trying to do with Arteta. Do you know what I mean? Like they've seen that Arteta was in and around Pep Guardiola. And you know, the funny thing is, Arteta's brought City's old way of playing to Arsenal, and then Guardiola's just invented another way to play. Do you know what I mean? Like this is exactly, this is why this guy is ridiculous. The guy is ridiculous, isn't it? So like there's a lot of admiration for what they're doing. As much as I hate it, I can't pretend that I don't see what's happening, bro. There's a lot that a lot of teams could learn from what City have done. Like they can say, oh yeah, plastic club and where they were and all these. Yeah, cool. But it's about where they are now, and it's about how they've done it. And a lot of people need to understand that these fuckers ain't going nowhere.
And they will become, I truly believe this as well. I truly believe they'll become self-sustaining as well.
Yeah.
I truly believe that because...
Bro, all the kids now are buying City shirts, bro. It's only a matter of time.
Right. But you look at it, with these young players coming through, it's almost like, if you look at Chelsea as well, the players that have come through that have been sold, players that hardly had any game time in the first team. You look at how much Guehi went for, Tomori, right? Players like Tammy Abraham. These players are going for 30, 40, 50 million from the youth team.
And
City
Chelsea done well with
same.
that as well. Chelsea done very well with that. People sleep on Chelsea, yeah. They sell very well. That's one thing Manchester United as a club have never done. Apart from Cristiano, we've never got money for anyone. Do you know what I mean? We bought Memphis Depay. Memphis Depay was meant to be the next big thing. Didn't work out. He pretty much went for free. Do you know what I mean? Most of these players end up leaving us for fucking undisclosed fees. We don't make money on player sales.
Yeah.
And then we give them big, long contracts and can't get rid of them. We got Phil Jones still eating off us. Do you know what I mean? The club's horribly run. And it's been run terribly for a long time. Do you know what I mean? But because I love them, I'm supposed to pretend that everyone else is doing things wrong and we're doing things right, bro. We're embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? We're the biggest club here in the league. Like literally on the pitch, off the pitch, we're an absolute fucking embarrassment.
Yeah, listen, you've got to get everything right. And that's the difficulty. You can have money. In life, you can have money for anything. It's what you do with that money. And let's be really, really honest. As much as people won't want to hear this, every aspect of that club, Man City got right. From stadium, academy, players, coaching staff, everything. They get it. They get it right. They don't buy for the sake of buying. You look every summer. Man City don't bring in 7 or 8 new players a summer when they could. No. Man City this summer will probably lose 2, bring in 2, maybe 3, right? Depending on who leaves. But that's what they do. They keep it consistent. When you've had enough seasons, Pep is the master at recognizing, all right, he'll get there. I think whether he gets there this summer or next summer, I think that will happen with De Bruyne. I think they'll start to realize, okay, he's getting on a bit. He's not doing what he used to do. His injuries are catching up. He'll move on. Everyone will lose their mind. Pep will be really, really calm about it. He'll move Grealish inside or Foden inside, whatever.
I think he'll move Foden inside. I think he's kind of, he's kind of getting Foden ready to take over from Gundogan. I think that he won't replace Gundogan directly. I think Kovacic coming in is going to be like cover, and I think that Phil Foden starts next season.
Listen, I agree with you. And that how cool is that you can do that, right? It's that, listen, they just get it right, but again, this doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you can go out in one summer and go, right, we've now got everything in place. You've got to go out there and realize there's going to be pain for a little bit. This Man City didn't start under Pep either. They were winning things, but he's taken it.
All their managers have won stuff.
To there, before they didn't have this system in place. Now they do. And look, I think that what comes with that as well, what comes with that, by the way, someone's just said they think Bentancur would start for Man City. I'm not sure in front of who, but interesting. I just think that the moment they don't win a trophy now, everyone's going to try and use that as a way to absolutely knock them. But you can't constantly pump out trebles. You can't. There's going to be things that happen. But over the next 5 years, I reckon they win it another 2 times at least. I think they're that well set up.
Yeah, 100%. Big up everyone inside. We got over 1,000 here. Let's get them likes up to 500 minimum. You get me? Big up Yusuf for the super chat. He said if we get around 50 million for Sancho, I'd sell. Talented baller, but United need dangerous, potent wide players. But Sancho ain't a Ten Hag signing. You guys have been linked with Jadon Sancho today.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Firstly, I don't believe it, but secondly, how do you feel about that anyway?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think it's right for where we are at the moment. I was saying this to Terry yesterday on the Straight Facts show that. For me, I think he falls into, and forgive me, he falls into the sometimes player, on his day player. And for me, I think where Spurs are at the moment, I just don't feel that £50 million for a bloke that hasn't set the world alight, that isn't consistent. I don't think that's what we need. I think we need players that want to die for the club. We need players that run through brick walls. I don't care, Rants, if they're big names or not. We need the right type of player. And I just don't think that. Listen, sometimes I watch Sancho and I think, yeah, quality. You've got good technical ability. Other times I watch him and I just think, I didn't even know you were playing today. And I just don't think that's where Spurs are at the moment. I really don't. I don't see him as a Postecoglou type player. In terms of the front three that he plays,
what would you say is a Postecoglou type player then?
I think it's a player that runs, a player with energy. And I don't just mean runs when they got the ball. This is pressing, running, closing down, cutting inside, movement, link up play. I just don't see Sancho as that. I've got nothing against him. I just don't see him as that guy. And Spurs aren't. We don't have Chelsea and Man City money. Right, so I can't see dropping 50 million on him. He plays from the left, right? Am I right in that? Is he play from the left or the right?
He plays on both sides, but
both sides. I can't see that he's going to get in above Son. And for me, I think we'll need something different on the right hand side. So not for me. I'm not knocking him. He's got his uses, but I've not seen anything in the last 2 years that makes me go, oh yeah, get him into my team. If that makes sense.
No, 100%. 100%. I would say where you guys are, you're in a worse position than us. So if he isn't comfortable at Manchester United week in, week out, going to Tottenham, is career suicide. So I just don't believe he would do that anyway, because why the hell would he? Do you know what I mean? Why would he? Like, you can't afford his wages. And
what's he on?
He's on about 250, not including bonuses. Like that. So his bonuses takes him over 300. So you can't afford him, And then on top of that, like you guys are struggling. If you think Man United don't have an identity, you just got to look at Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? So, like, there's absolutely no chance in hell that he would even consider going to you guys, in it. So, I don't know where this rumor has come from. It's a very strange one.
It sounds lazy, doesn't it? I think we're at that stage of the season now where I think it's pretty well known that Spurs are going to rip up a lot of the players and get them out, which means a lot of players will come in.
Yeah.
But as I keep saying, Spurs fans don't want to hear this. They really don't want to hear this, Rants. You know me, though. You know I'm level-headed. Spurs fans are going to see a lot of players, I think, in the next 2-3 years under Postecoglou that they might not have heard of, right? That Postecoglou knows across the world that play his formation, whether that be from Japan, whether that be from Denmark, whether that be from Argentina. I think we're going to see a lot of players that are going to be his players rather than the big names that fans want. Sure. And I'm crying out for that. I'm crying out for players that fit a manager's system, not just who's the big name, because Spurs don't do well in that area. We really don't. If you look at our biggest transfers ever, hardly any of them ever work out. Hey, that's just my opinion. Lots of fans think we're bigger than we are. Same people putting Postecoglou down. The same people that somehow think that Spurs are going to sign Bastoni and Caicedo and Vardial. The people that just need to sort of come back down a bit, Rants, to reality and realise where we are in the food chain.
But this is the funny thing, though. Like the fact that people genuinely believe that even if Spurs wanted Sancho, that he would even entertain the phone call, tells you everything you need to know about the state of journalism at the moment. Like Jadon Sancho wouldn't text back, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Like, he's just qualified for the Champions League with Manchester United. He actually finished the season quite well. Like, he hasn't had a great season as a whole, but the last month of the season, 6 weeks of the season, he looked like he started to kind of get into his groove a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Why the fuck would he be thinking about going to Tottenham? Do you know what I mean? Like, that don't even make no sense. Like, at very worst, he's probably looking, you know what, I can go back to Dortmund or something like that, somewhere where I'm comfortable if I want to get my confidence back. You do not go to Tottenham to get your confidence back. You know what I mean? It makes absolutely no sense. So I don't understand. Super chat, he said, yes, boys, rate both of you and your content. This is a good link up. Question to both of you. Would you swap Harry Kane for Sancho and money?
No.
No, neither of us would. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make sense.
I think for me, look, I'm always reticent to talk about money because for me, it's not my money, right? I'm a football fan. But from the point of view with how much work Spurs need to do, I just think that if you're going to let Harry Kane go, what you don't want to do is bring in people that have got question marks over them at the moment. I truly believe that. I wouldn't at all. I think if Kane goes, I think it's going to be cash. I think it's going to be straight up.
Levy wouldn't entertain anything other than cold, hard cash.
Yeah, unless we're getting a player that Postecoglou goes, oh, they're offering him. Yeah, I want him. And if there are players like that, I can't see they'd want to leave Man United for Tottenham right now. So I think it would be cash. I'm a very rare Spurs fan, everybody. I fully understand the lane I'm in. I fully get it.
No, 100%, bro. And it's admirable, man. And it's like, even with the Sancho situation for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? Let's wait and see, innit? Let's wait and see. I want to wait and see what my manager does. I want to see the kind of signings my manager makes before I decide whether it's good for Sancho to stay or whether it's good for him to leave, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Let's wait and see what the manager brings in to complement his skill set, innit? Because if he brings in a certain type of player, then I'm like, you know what, he doesn't belong here. And that's no shade on his ability, because ability-wise, like Jadon Sancho is unbelievable, innit? But I understand exactly what he is. I don't like when people use the term system player, because I believe nearly every player is a system player. Do you know what I mean? I don't know a certain player that's not a system player. Every player will always thrive in an environment that suits them. Like, there's no such thing as a player that isn't going to play better in certain teams. There's no such thing as that. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you go across, there's not a single player in the world. Like, look at Jack Grealish, for instance. Yeah, when he first went to Man City, yeah, when he went to Man City, everyone was saying, "Oh, Pep's ruining him. He doesn't suit it. He doesn't suit that." Like, it's just like, bro, like he's good enough. He'll adapt eventually, but he didn't adapt straight away. For me, the best Jack Grealish you're never going to see at Man City. The best Jack Grealish you're going to see in a team where you allow him free roam, you allow him to get on the ball, do whatever he wants when he wants. That's when you see the best Jack Grealish. That doesn't mean that he's still not going to be good at Man City.
Yeah, of
Do you know what I'm
course.
saying? But it took him over a season to become the Grealish that we're seeing now. And I still believe, yeah, the best version of Jack Grealish, you let this guy know that he's the guy and he can do whatever he wants, innit? Like, and he's not an arrogant player to say that he needs that. However, you need to give him that. You need to give him that, really, if you're going to get the best out of Jack Grealish, man. Because for me, this guy is a maverick. When you compared him to Paul Gascoigne, that's exactly what he reminds me of. And you don't tell Gaza, "Oh, you know what, mate, you're playing left wing today." You tell Gaza, "Go out there and have fun." That's what you tell those kind of players.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree with you. Look, I think what you'll see is Grealish. He's doing his thing. I think he'll be at City for 2, 3, 4 years. As soon as Pep lets him go and he goes to another club, he'll go back to being the Jack Grealish that gets the ball, wants to beat men, whipping shots, because no one else plays like City. The only reason I talk about system players is for years Spurs have just gone out and bought players that just don't really suit any kind of formation. We just buy them and chuck them in. And I'm hoping that with Postecoglou, we allow him to build a team in his mold. That's what I think we need. That's just me. That's just me. I've seen too much for the last for the last 10, 15 years at Spurs of not building or implementing an identity. And that's all I want to see at Tottenham.
Yeah, 100%. And this thing here, yeah, like, guys, let's stop lying. Do you know what I mean? People were saying the same thing about Alex Ferguson, yeah. Oh, why did he let Pogba go? He didn't let Pogba go. Pogba left. Do you know what I mean? The reason why Sir Alex Ferguson fell out with Mino Raiola in the first place is because Paul Pogba felt like he should be playing in a Man United team, and he kept saying to Pogba, "Oh yeah, your time will come." And Mino was like, "Nah, fuck this. We're getting out of here. Like, he's good enough to play." And the same thing happened with Jadon. Jadon said he wanted to leave to play because he believed he was good enough to play, and he proved he was right because he went to Dortmund and won stuff. Do you know what I mean? And played well. Yeah. So at the end of the day, let's not pretend that Jadon Sancho was gotten rid of. Do you know what I mean? That did not happen. The same thing didn't happen with Paul Pogba. These guys left on their own accord because they wanted to go somewhere else, innit? And it's as simple as that. Like, whether or not stylistically certain players suit certain teams, you look at Kevin De Bruyne, yeah, he went to Chelsea, and a lot of people never thought that he would have the career that he had at Manchester City, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not for everyone. The same can go for Mohamed Salah as well. Like, do you know what I mean? People are saying to Chelsea fans at the time didn't regret letting these guys go. They thought that they didn't know that they were going to have the careers that they had in the Premier League. They didn't know.
Yeah, of course. And I think the key thing is when we say there are so many flippant comments of if they were that good, so-and-so wouldn't have let them go. Well, Pep Guardiola's got a history of letting top players go, and he never regrets it. I mean, Pep Guardiola let Yaya Toure go from Barcelona to Man City.
Absolutely. And he played him at centre-back before. Let's not forget.
Right. And people in this country were like, oh, my God, why did Barcelona let him go? Well, you know, he had Busquets. He had players that could play that position. He didn't need Yaya Toure. So this is a guy that's made a career of doing this. The amount I see Pep Guardiola questioned, it's almost like people never learn. You know what I mean? Like, we never learn. He knows what he's doing. You know, he knew why he was letting Cancelo go. He knew what he wanted. He knew why Sterling went, Zinchenko went, Jesus went, Ferran Torres, Sané. He went, you know.
Oh, bro, when he let go of Leroy Sané, people were saying this he's drunk. The guy let go of Cancelo. Like, bro, like, he gets rid of top players and he still thrives.
Yeah. It's listen, and that's the thing. But it takes years and years to get to that level, and it takes excellent coaching, and it takes your owners to completely, fully trust in you. Because I can imagine most owners would have been like, sorry, you want to let go of Cancelo on loan? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not even for a massive fee. Sorry,
it's not even let go of him. Get rid of him. He was like, listen, I'd rather not have him here because he's disrupting what I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it takes a strong character to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Let's be fair. I reckon whatever decision Pep comes to at Man City, no one questions it. I bet you the board at no point go, oh, Pep, could you explain that one to us? I don't reckon that at all. He has got so much credit in the bank.
You don't question Pep.
Of course you don't. The same way Ferguson wouldn't have been questioned for however many years at Man United.
But there you go. He got rid of Yap Stam. It was the wrong decision, but boy, he made the decision. Do you know what I mean? You don't always get it right. But most of the time when he gets rid of players, Sir Alex Ferguson, has a reputation that, you know what, he knows when to let people go. Like, people always say it. It's the same thing about Ruud van Nistelrooy. Even though Ruud van Nistelrooy went to Real Madrid and top scored Real Madrid after we let go of him, it didn't matter. Do you know what I mean? We won the Champions League when we let him go. Like, knowing when to get rid of players is also a very, very underrated quality that the top managers have. They know when a player's peaked. They know when they've just done enough or they're not going to get any more out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. That's what sets those managers apart from the managers that change clubs every year and constantly looking for new jobs and have never implemented anything. But look, we're in a society now where everyone wants immediate results and immediate answers. I mean, look at the stick Pep Guardiola got in year one at City. Look at the stick. His football will never work in the Premier League. Look, he didn't win the league. Now look at it.
That's what I'm saying. And someone said,
six Premier Leagues or 5? Has he got 5 out of 7?
Bro, everyone stopped counting, Sabo. Like, let's be honest. Everyone stopped counting. Do you know what I mean? Big up everyone inside. Make sure we hit that 500 likes. We're like over 1.1.
Yeah, smash the like button, people.
Like, he's saying that Klopp lacks that knowing when to let players go. And it's funny because Sir Alex Ferguson got rid of Roy Keane, gave Michael Carrick his shirt. We won the Champions League. You know, like that. And it's little things like that, man. Like Liverpool, they're announcing James Ward-Prowse to Liverpool. I like him, you know. I think he's a good player. And I think that he'll fit in at Liverpool because he's humble. He's willing to be a squad player. He will run for the team. And he does the basics very well, innit? And I think that it's a very Klopp signing.
Listen, I think if we're talking about James Ward-Prowse, right? I think this guy gets belittled a lot because he is so superior with his free kicks and set pieces that I think people then just the easy way is just,
they think that's all he's got, innit?
That's all he's got. For me, I think what these managers are good at is they're good at getting in players that go under the radar, that do the job. If you look at it, Man United, I mean, I say you look at it, you're a Man U fan.
Yeah.
Man United, all these great teams you had throughout the years that won the leagues and Champions Leagues and FA Cups, whatever. Players like John O'Shea, Wes Brown, Darren Fletcher. I'm sure there's loads and loads. Phil Neville. Yeah. Right. They weren't amazing, but you know what? Fergie could rely on them because he knew if I chuck you in, you're going to give me 7 out of 10. That's all I need. You're going to do the basics, 7 out of 10, right? Every now and then you get an 8, but what you won't get is them down in tools. You won't get them not putting their body on the line for the cause.
Facts.
And you need some players like that. You need some players that do that. And I think Liverpool, if that was to be the type of signing, everyone has a pop at Henderson. Like, I hear so much bad about Jordan Henderson. Look at the career that man's had at Liverpool. I would say he's done.
And the thing is, before Klopp was coming in, Liverpool fans wanted rid of Jordan Henderson. And the funny thing is, Klopp here has built a system that actually makes Jordan Henderson look like a decent player. Do you know what I mean? And that tells you how important systems are and understandings and having certain role players. And Jordan Henderson is a role player, but Jordan Henderson, has been made to look better than a role player because Jurgen Klopp has built such a machine around him. And this is why when people talk about system players and all these other things, you got to understand that if you're a player of a certain profile, if a certain manager gets hands on you, he can bring out all of your strengths and hide all of your weaknesses. And that's exactly what, Jurgen Klopp did for a certain amount of time with Jordan Henderson. He did that, and he did that with a lot of players.
For sure. I mean, you do not, you're not playing at Liverpool for nearly a decade or whatever Henderson is, as club captain, winning Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups, Super Cups, if you are a bad footballer. Yeah. If you played 5 games a season, 10 games a season, you could say, okay, we're a bit part player. This boy's been integral to what they've done, whether we like it or not. And by the way, I'm not sitting here saying Henderson's the greatest player I've ever seen, but people want to get stuck into these players that are somebody I know calls them muck and bullets players. Do you know what I mean? They don't have the shine, they don't have the sexy name, but they'll do all your muck and bullets. Clubs grow. I think growing up, most clubs had one of them in their midfield.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Spurs had people in our team that would do that all the time. You know, people like Stefan Freund, muck and bullets, get stuck in. You know, technically, is he great? Is he going to beat 3 men in a mazy dribble? No.
He's not.
But he's in there. He does the job. And clubs need that. It can't be, look at PSG. You cannot have a squad of superstars.
But you can't. We had Nicky Butt, who was so good. He was a good player, probably underrated technically. Like Nicky Butt was decent, but no one looked at him as a world beater. But he was a valuable squad player for us for a long time.
Very good midfielder. Again, no frills. Nicky Butt did, and then went and had a really good stint at Newcastle United. But Ferguson made that happen. Ferguson made that happen, and top managers will always find a way to do that. Hey,
but this is what I'm saying. So don't be surprised, if James Ward-Prowse does well, because at the end of the day, he's been the star man at Southampton for a while. He's a good footballer. This guy's been involved with the England team, probably not as much as he should have been. And he's been like the talisman at Southampton for a long time, innit? He's got a lot of experience, and also he's played with the pressure of being almost like, if you don't turn up for Southampton, we're fucked kind of thing. So he's gonna go in a Liverpool team, where he's come from a team being the best player to being just one of the guys, bro. So there's gonna be a lot of pressure off him now. Do you know what I mean? He's gonna go there, enjoy his football, and he'll be very, very valuable, in that Liverpool team, because he's got the engine to play for Klopp. He's technically good enough. He's technically as good as, if not better than, a lot of their players as well, because the technical level, in that Liverpool midfield is not super, super high, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at his technical ability, he's more technical than Jordan Henderson. So
and how many set piece? Let me start that again. How many free kicks would he score for Liverpool?
Bro, he has to fight Trent for them though.
Yeah, no, of course. But what a wonderful option to have, right?
No,
listen,
trust me.
I've said this for years. Too many people play Football Manager Rants. Too many people don't look at having enough different quality types in the team.
But this is why you should be in the England squad all the time.
Profiles,
Because for me, if you're going to a major tournament, you need set piece takers, you need penalty takers. You have to take Ward-Prowse. You have to take Ivan Toney, because if it goes to a penalty shootout, I need someone that's confident on the spot. And literally, we saw it with Beckham against Greece. How many times, like Kieran Trippier scored, what was it? Who did he score the free kick against in the
Croatia in the semi-final?
Bro, it's like, bruv, like you need these moments. In these moments, especially in tournament football, you need specialists. You need specialists. This guy is a specialist, isn't it? And you can count on one hand how many specialists they are in football when it comes to dead balls and that. Like James Ward-Prowse, you can't put a price on what he can do.
I just think over a season as well, you think for a club like Liverpool that are going to play 38 league games, however many games they're going to play in the Europa, they normally go quite deep in cup competitions. So you're looking at 50, 55, 60 games a season. You've got to have a squad. And the problem is too many people think of an 11. So when, like, for example, I'm sitting here saying, I think it would be a decent signing for Liverpool. I won't sit here and go, I believe he should go there and play every God-given minute for Liverpool.
Absolutely.
But options. And I think too many people still talk about football as though it's an 11. You need all sorts. That's where Spurs have gone wrong. We got all our midfielders do the same thing, Rants. They all do the same thing.
100%. And then you get people saying, but they're gonna stunt the growth of this player. Like any player can play 60 games a season. What the fuck? Hey, 1 second, the door's going. 1 second, mate.
No worries, man. No worries. We'll keep it up. I mean, I'm not sure what everyone else in the chat thinks, but I just think James Ward-Prowse is one of those. He is belittled a little bit because he plays for Southampton, but I do think that he's definitely got something in him. Guys and girls, this man works very hard as a YouTuber. Smash the like buttons for him. Smash the like button. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and it really does help. Get it round, and let's get this guy to over to 100,000 subscribers. The like button is free. It is free. Somebody's asked about Thuram. Yeah, I've seen bits of him. I like him. He looks good. He looks a very good player. Looks like Liverpool are in for him. Liverpool really going in early with their midfield options for the season, and I don't blame them. Ivan Toney and Saf, can I get your input on Sanchez? No one rate him. Yeah, you don't want you don't want Davinson Sanchez, my friend. He's a terrible centre back. I don't know who you support. You don't want him. Even if you support a team in the National League, you don't want him. He is shocking. Just putting it out there.
That's hilarious. Hey, can anyone in the chat tell me how many appearances did Alvarez make for City? Just out of curiosity.
I'll find out for you, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's funny, you know when people talk about not bringing in players and stunting growth, and they brought in Alvarez and they brought in Haaland at the same time,
right?
And it's super funny. Let's have a look.
31 appearances in the league.
What?
31. Yeah, I mean a lot of them would have been subs, right? But 31
it doesn't matter.
In the league. He's played 2 League Cup games, 5 FA Cup games, and international cups. He's played 10 times in the Champions League. So
he's got 45 appearances for Man City.
45 appearances. Yeah.
And see, so when people talk about stunting growth and all this bollocks, yeah, listen, football's a squad game. How's this guy got 45 appearances for City, yeah? And it feels like this guy don't play, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is what it tells you. Football's a squad game. Football's a squad game. I bet you Rico Lewis has probably played more than 10 games for City this season, yeah? And
I can tell you.
Like, it's weird, bro. Like, people, you know what it is, Savo? Like, people think that football's about starting 11s.
Right. He's got 14 games in the league, Rico Lewis, 7 across the 2 cups, 5 in the FA Cup, by the way, of which they won. And he's played 2 Champions League games. So that's what, 7, 9, 14. He's played 23 times in his debut season. That's not bad, is it?
Well, there you go. So there you go. Do you know what I mean?
It's not bad.
But this is it. So when people think about starting 11s, bro, football's not about starting 11s. Football's about the squad. That's what it's about. So when they talk about not bringing in certain players and stunting development and all these other things, bro, man can say our bench appearances, and all of that. Someone's got to make them.
I'll tell you what. Let's be really, really, really honest, right? Julian Alvarez in the last 6 months has won the World Cup, the Champions League, the League, and the FA Cup. Scored goals in the World Cup, scored goals in the Premier League, scored goals in the Cups. I don't think he's going to be sitting there going, oh, but so many of them are off the bench. That guy is, 23, 22, and look what he's just won. I mean...
There you go. And this bullshit about stunting development, yeah? How does it stunt your development as a young footballer, yeah, to be playing in the squad, yeah, and training with some of the best footballers on the planet? How does it stunt your development? How? I
heard this for years, Rants.
How?
I heard this for years.
How do you stunt Phil Foden's development by him training with Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, all of these guys, Sergio Aguero, and that? Is that how you stunt development? Or do you send him to a shit team where he's training with bums, yeah, and he's the best player in the team? That's how you stunt someone's development.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was going to say. I remember having these arguments years and years ago on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and people saying, oh, Phil Foden, if he was that good, he'd go out on loan. And I remember seeing conversations, interviews with Pep Guardiola, who said the best place for him is with us. He said he's training on the pitch with Kevin. Ilkay, you know, maybe all them all, but Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. And you're like, yeah, I think he's getting more there than going down to play for Norwich. And do you know what I mean? And not being able to play that type of football.
Bro, listen, did Harry Kane going out on loan, yeah? When you look at what Harry Kane actually done on loan, yeah, compared to what he's doing in the Premier League, it wasn't a lot. Like, what? Do you reckon Harry Kane benefited much from them loans? I don't think so. Do you know what I mean? Harry Kane benefited from playing with players that were on his level. That's what he benefited.
And you think about it, right? Phil Foden, right, has 14 major honours.
Yeah.
14 major honours, including 5 Premier Leagues at the age of 22. If he continues this trajectory, he'll overtake Giggsy's 35.
Yeah.
14 major honours. And what made me laugh was loads of people said, oh, he should definitely leave this year. He's not getting games. I truly believe that Phil Foden will look at what's just happened to him this year and think, where do I go from here? Where does Phil Foden go from there that's better for his career?
Nowhere. That's the answer.
Do you know what I mean? I understand it. With Gundogan, who's a bit older, if he fancies leaving, he's done it all now. I get it. Did Gundogan win the World Cup as well, by the way?
Yeah, he did, I think.
With Germany, right? You know, even Bernardo Silva, if he wants to move on, he's won the European Championships with Portugal and won all these things with Man City. When I look at Phil Foden, I think to myself, you're 22, stay there. Just stay there. Just keep playing. Keep playing. Keep alternating. Somebody's made a really good point in your chat. If I can talk about it,
yeah, of course.
Right. I don't know if you got. I've not got another stream, so I've got time.
No, yeah, go for it. Go for it, mate.
Ivan Toney, who I don't believe it's the real Ivan Toney, but you never know, has said stunting development is Saka plays week in, week out, and Arteta burns him out, has no competition to hold him accountable to actually improve. Foden is the opposite. Foden's been eating good. Now,
amen to that.
That's a real interesting argument because as good as I like Saka, by the way, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these fans who thinks he's God's gift to right-sided forwards. I think he's a good player that will grow. Yeah. But that's a really good point. Where is you weren't great this game, you're going on the bench, Grealish is going in this week?
Yeah, but this is how you make players better, because if there's no fear of being replaced, there's no competition for places, it breeds complacency, whether you like it or not. The way to get the best out of a player is for them to genuinely fear for their place in the side. And you see it a lot of the time, bro. Like, you see it even at our club with Luke Shaw, yeah? Luke Shaw seems to play better when he gets dropped. Do you know what I'm saying? At one point, he was on the bench for Brandon Williams. Like, people are forgetting. Brandon Williams is below average as a footballer. Below average. But I mean, if Luke Shaw doesn't have competition and he doesn't feel like he can get dropped, his level drops. Right. And a lot of players are like that. A lot of players.
Dele Alli, could that be one of the biggest examples of that?
Possibly.
Dele Alli had no competition at Tottenham for his place. And whenever Spurs were linked with someone, I remember fans would go, oh, but who are we dropping for this player? I remember it's about squads. It's about squads. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be the same for any player. For all we know, Saka could go on. This could kick on and be one of the best players that the Premier League's ever seen. I don't know, right? But equally, I think that part of City's success is the players don't get burnt out. Because Grealish doesn't play every minute. Foden doesn't play every minute. Mahrez doesn't.
And someone said that Foden's only played 38 minutes less than John Stones, which is crazy.
That's mad.
Because it feels like Stones plays every game recently.
Well, let's have a look. So Phil Foden this year, I mean, lots of people saying, oh my God, he's lost his place and he's not played a lot of football. He's played 32 games, Rants, in the Premier League. He's got 11 goals and 5 assists. He's played 7 cup games and 8 Champions League games. So that is 31, that's 40. He's played 46 games across all competitions.
And that's what it looks like to be out of favour. Apparently.
Listen, they can if they take me, give me $5,000 a week, I'll sit on the bench. I don't even need to play or need a medal. Just put me on the bench. That's all I want.
This is crazy. Do you know what I mean? This is actually crazy, yeah. And literally someone said, and like, we are living proof. Look at David De Gea, no competition, and he's taking the piss. David De Gea is the poster boy for no competition. This guy has had no competition his whole career at Manchester United, and this guy has gotten away with murder, and he continues to get away with murder, and he continues to keep playing. Like, this guy is a disgrace. He's an absolute disgrace. And how can you be a top club really in football here with no competition? How can you be? How can you be a top club? Like, bro, like, when you're at a top club, you should be so scared to make a mistake. Do you know what I mean? Like, David De Gea is taking the piss, bro. He's playing for the other side.
No, I agree with you. So I was just laughing. Someone said that Sava wants that Scott Carson deal.
Hey, bro, he's got the best job in the world.
Oh my God, that guy is. Do you know he's now won the Champions League twice,
bro? He won it at Liverpool, innit?
Yeah, right. Do you know he's one of only 7 English players to have won the Champions League twice?
Bro, Scott Carson, has the best deal in the world. There's no one with a better job than him. No one. Nobody. The guy turns up to work, he has a laugh, and goes home and gets paid handsomely, bro. And this is a man that's supposed to be retired.
Oh my God. Damn right I want that Scott Carson deal.
This guy, his job role is just vibes. That's just vibes. He's vibes. He turns up, he plays the music, he runs banter, and he goes home.
Have you seen? They all say that he is absolutely brilliant for the dressing room.
Like, he's integral, bro. James Milner's the same at Liverpool. I see James Milner at the Liverpool under-21s games, watching the kids and that, bro. Like, he's literally so important to their dressing room. And people think James Milner's he's never retiring, bro. Listen, they're gonna have to retire him. He's not voluntarily retiring. Why is he retiring? Yeah,
Scott, you're 44. We need you to retire. Nah, give me 2 more years. I can go over 2 more years.
That's it. You know, like that. He knows how to operate the radio in the changing room, bro. That's all he needs to do.
But I just found it so funny. When the stat came up the other day, there were 7 players that had won the European Champions League twice. 7 English players. He didn't pop into my head at all. It was like, I was like, okay, Gary Neville. Yeah, I've got that. I was like,
most of them are United players. Most of them must be United players, surely.
It's Gary Neville, Wes Brown.
Yeah.
Steve McManaman.
Yeah.
Owen Hargreaves.
Yeah.
Daniel Sturridge. Yeah, it was on the books at Chelsea and Liverpool and win the Champions League.
Okay,
Scott Carson, and I'm missing one. But on that list, you're never thinking Scott Carson.
Did you say Scholes?
And Scholes. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's mental, isn't it? Like, if that quiz question came up, I can imagine most of the other names people would finally get. Scott Carson, you would never, ever put in that. That guy is balling. He's living the dream. And the kit man at Man City looks like he has a great life as well.
Oh, bruv. What a guy, bruv. If you watch the City All or Nothing, like, he's amazing, bruv. The ginger guy, innit, bro? What a guy, bruv. I can't remember his name now. This guy, pure banter, bro. Pure banter.
Yeah.
Him and Jack Grealish together, it should be illegal, bruv. It should be illegal. Yeah, Brandon, that's the one. What a guy, bro. I remember watching the City All or Nothing thinking, bro, this guy, what a job. What a job he's got.
I love it. Classified in your chat said, man's the handyman. Yo, Scott, the shower isn't working. Can you fix it? Yo, Scott, the radio's not working. And then when you finish, can you go and warm up Edison?
Bro, amazing.
That's brilliant, mate.
Amazing, man.
Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. And hey, when we were talking about David De Gea, what about you, Hugo Lloris, another goalkeeper with no fucking pressure, his whole career at Tottenham? How much has he cost you, bro?
Mate, listen, and that is why now we're desperate for a keeper, and that is why Brentford will hold out for the 40 million that they want for David Raya.
Because you waited too long.
Yeah, but that's the story of my club. The story of my club is there's been no succession planning. There's been no plan A. So it's no shock there's been no plan B, C, or D for the last 20 odd years. But Lloris, no pressure. Makes mistakes, knows he's going to start the next game, has been like that for a couple of years now. And unfortunately, that's how it works. By the way, Scott Carson's 2 Champions League winners medals both happened in the same stadium. Just saying.
No, he's had a great career. If he writes a book, I'll read it 100% because, like, honestly, bro, he's got the cheat code to life.
Should we get him on? Should we send him a message on Instagram? Say, come on,
I reckon we could get him. I'll be honest.
I reckon you could. You've got the pull, mate. I'm just a small little YouTuber.
No, I reckon we could get Scott Carson 100%. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got to be one of the most interesting people in football because he's seen everything. Yeah, he's seen everything. The guy's got 2 Champions Leagues. He's been around some of the best players in the world, innit? And it's one of them ones where, like, you don't keep someone like that around. Yeah, unless they're just a great guy, innit?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think, the interesting thing about all of this is, I feel like Ben Foster's now going down that route as well. Like Ben Foster started to forge himself as a bit of a personality rather than
he's
being
another one
remembered
though,
for a great goalkeeper, right? Like
to be fair, he's another one though. He's a personality as well, Ben Foster.
he is. He is. I like seeing the videos he's making up with Ryan Reynolds and stuff.
But even I remember during lockdown, because obviously, like I've got mates that are at Watford, like Troy and them lot, and he was doing like the PT sessions and that in lockdown, innit? So there's one of them ones. He had them doing the cycling car, the spin classes, innit?
Yeah.
So like I remember seeing that, because Troy and them lot were doing the fucking the virtual spin, innit? And he was taking the classes and that. So he's well respected amongst like his peers anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, you keep people around like that because of their personality. Like they have a big part to play in the team. It's not just the 11 players that play.
Fill the club with good people from everywhere. Youth coaches, backroom staff. Even when you watch a lot of these documentaries about these lower league clubs that are going up through the leagues, even like the catering team they've got and the admin girls and guys and the PR, they're all characters. They're all bought into it, and they're, and I think that is so hard to create. And City have done it. Thank you. I don't know if it's talking about me.
No, it is you. It's definitely not me.
Thank you. Yeah. Listen, just honest. That's all it was. I think a lot of people hadn't seen a Spurs fan before telling the truth, Rants. I think that's what I get a lot. And do you know what I get? I'm going to make a shameless plug if that's all right, Rants. Sorry.
That's why you're here, man. Do your thing,
I think the thing is, right, fans of other clubs really like me because they think that I tell the truth about Spurs.
Yeah.
Spurs fans, not all of them, a lot of them hate me because they think that I am negative just to bring in fans from other clubs to my channel.
Hey, bro, join the club, mate. You know what I mean? Join the club.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've said to these people, anyone who knows me like Rants, we've talked off air. Yeah. This isn't an act. I talk like this. This is how I am about Tottenham Hotspur, about football. If I see it, I will call it. Yeah. Sure. If I have to big up Arsenal, I will big up Arsenal. I'm not beyond that because I'm a Spurs fan. So what I will ask off the back of that, I am trying to get to 6K. I'm 180 away. If anyone would like to go and smash that subscribe button,
hey, bro, you lot, listen, the name's already in the title. You lot already know. You lot always do support everyone that comes in here anyway. Do you know what I mean? But make sure you support his channel because, bun the tribalism bullshit, bro. Do you know what I mean? We just keep it 100 over here. Do you know what I mean? And that's exactly what it is. I big up Joe Black in the comments as well. I see you as well. And he coaches, so he knows how important it is, and me being an owner of a club as well, that it's so important. Bro, the atmosphere that you create at a club,
massive.
Like, bro, it's so important. Massive. How many times have you talked? Look at Chelsea right now. The reason why Chelsea ain't winning games is not because they ain't got good players, is because the atmosphere is toxic. You can feel it. You know them ones. Remember that video that we watched, Sava, of the Chelsea fans in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Bro, them man look like they didn't want to be at work. Do you know what I mean? They look like them man are going to do the night shift at Asda's. That's what they look like. Do you know what I mean? That's what they look like. You know what I mean? Doing the night shift at Asda's, bro. Do you know what I mean? The man told you was on the frozen fish. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what? On a lesser degree, so when I first did my coaching badges and that out of school, I actually got a job working for Charlton Athletic. And it was the year they got promoted. I don't know if you'll remember this, Rants. Like they got promoted the year that the classic playoff final where Mendonca scored a hat trick. Remember Kevin Phillips and Quinn, right? And what I remember is everyone at the club, with the family feel at that club, there was no prima donnas. Everyone was very respectful. You know, there were signs everywhere. Don't bring your boots in it. People were like, oh my God, won't do that because everyone respected Kerbishley. Yeah. You know, everyone talked to the girls on reception that took care of all their needs. These players would drop off their car keys. They'd say, oh, I've got clothes that need done in there. I need you to book a holiday, buy my wife. Everyone was talked to with utter respect. And the feel around that club when they went up was they got everyone involved for this great big massive party afterwards. Everyone was involved and everyone felt like they'd achieved it, not just the 11 players. And I feel like so many of these clubs now don't have that identity. So you might win a trophy every now and then because you've bought top players.
Sure.
But what's the underlying nature of that? What's coming up behind that? And
exactly. And that's why building
City
the
have
right
it.
atmosphere. Exactly. And that's why infrastructure is important. City built the infrastructure, and you can see it from the under 18s all the way up. Like, it's not an accident. And also the atmosphere, stuff like giving Scott Carson a new deal. Yeah. Like, you think that, oh yeah, it's funny, but bro, it's a master stroke.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Because you're keeping the harmony. He's someone who knows what it means, yeah, to be part of this dressing room. People like him, yeah, keep personalities in check so managers don't have to. He keeps his teammates accountable. He also helps to maintain a certain atmosphere that's at the club. This is why you keep the Kyle Walkers, even when they're not starting anymore all the time. You still keep them. You don't let them go, because this is why you keep James Milner. This is why you keep Jordan Henderson.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? This is why it would have exactly. This is why it would have been good to keep Cristiano Ronaldo if he had the right personality. This is why you keep Zlatan at AC, when he's not playing and he's injured, but you still have him on the bench. Do you know what I mean? This is why these players have their roles, bro. Football's not a game of 11 players.
Not everyone is a star player. And I think, don't get me wrong, from having worked for Premier League football clubs, you see it. The players that aren't star players know they're not star players. They know that. And they're the ones that you need around, because they're the ones that will run through brick walls. On the days when the star players are having an off game and they're maybe not working as hard, or none of their tricks or whatever coming off, those players that, I don't want to say all they've got to their game, but their main part of their game is their desire, their hunger, their passion. That will always be there. Those guys leave it out on the pitch.
And this is a curveball, yeah, but this is why Arsenal need to keep Granit Xhaka, bro. This is why you need to keep him, because a lot of Arsenal fans don't like him. But let me tell you something, yeah. That guy is your captain, bro, whether you like it or not, innit? It's not Odegaard, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because the one thing I learned, yeah, about watching the Arsenal All or Nothing, yeah, and I watched it late because I don't watch along on the Twitch, the influence that guy has in the changing room and the standards that he upholds, yeah, and the respect he has amongst the players, whether you like him or not, he's important. Whether he's playing well or not, he's important. Players like Aubameyang, there's a reason why you got rid of him. Arteta done the right thing. And the thing is about Aubameyang, yeah, everywhere he goes, there seems to be some sort of fucking problem. You know, like that. He went to Barca, it didn't work out. Gone to Chelsea, didn't work out. Now he's going Barca again.
It's not ability, is it? It's not an ability issue. Bro. It's not an ability issue. It's a, there's something.
He's the common denominator, bro. Like everywhere you go, it's like, bruv, you gone Barca, didn't work out. Gone back to Chelsea, then all of a sudden you're in the Barca dressing room celebrating. You're still a Chelsea player, bro. There's something wrong with you. Arteta done the right thing to fuck you off. Do you know what I'm saying? Arsenal couldn't have done what they did this season with him in the team, bro, because there's something about him being there is not good, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is because I don't know him personally and I can't say, but bruv, the proof's in the fucking pudding, innit? Like, clearly there's something about your presence that don't really facilitate success, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what it is. And Granit Xhaka, like, whether you rate his ability or not, this guy is a winner, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, yeah, like I seen it. There was one instance we were watching the All or Nothing thing, and Xhaka got sent off. He took one for the team, innit? And someone in the gym joked about him getting sent off, and he must have said to one of the players, "Yeah, well, if you didn't play that shit pass, I wouldn't have had to do that." And I was dying because it wasn't his fault, but he had to sacrifice himself for the team. And Roy Keane sacrificed himself for us to get to the Champions League final. Like, big characters, sometimes Casemiro does it as well. Like, he'll rather get sent off rather than the possibility of letting them potentially score, because in the moment he's not thinking about himself. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of selfless
special mindset.
And that selfless mindset, you need a player that puts the team before themselves, bro. Like, you need it.
Yeah, I think that you'd be surprised if you went into a lot of dressing rooms to see who actually gives the team talks. Don't be surprised to think that it's the captain every time. I think there's a lot of unsung heroes and leaders within dressing rooms that are better at rallying the troops. But there's certain people that in the light of day look like better captains because they behave better or whatever it may be. But listen, it's absolutely, clubs need, I think that the be all and end all for me is clubs need all sorts. And I think sometimes before we put down players that clubs are signing, before we go, oh my God, why are they buying them? We've got to see that managers have a longer term insight as to what is this player gonna bring to my club. Yeah. But fans just want, not all fans, sorry, I'm not all fans. A lot of fans just want superstars. They just want superstar after superstar after superstar. That's cool, but a lot of superstars, not all, but a lot of superstars know they're superstars.
Yeah, and they come with baggage of their own. That's why you can't have too many of them.
Yeah, and Ronaldo coming back to Man United, being the biggest case in point in the world, Ronaldo knew he was the world's superstar.
But when are people gonna actually admit that I was right about this? That's what I was thinking the other day. Because
I've set you up for this.
Yeah, because you see, before he came, I was like, I don't want this guy. He's gonna make us worse. He's gonna take away from the team and everyone. Bro, the amount of shit I got. And I checked my inboxes. I ain't got no apologies, you know, Sava. This guy is stinking it out in Saudi Arabia. And like no one ain't said, you know what, Rant? Like you was right, you know. Look at his career. Look at what's happened to him since he left. Like, bruv, no one. Who would have thought that he hadn't left us and thrived? The guy didn't even make team of the season in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. He missed out to Odi and Nagalo, bruv.
Is that who got player of the season?
No, team of the season. They put
Agalo. Team of the season, Agalo. The guy who played for Watford.
Yeah. Shout out Agalo as well. Great guy, man.
Did you take him on loan? Did you take him on loan? Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I look, there are certain superstars that don't come with baggage, to get on with it. There are some that come with baggage. And sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze. But a lot of the time, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Most of the time, it's not. Unless you've got a manager that's got a bigger ego than the player to keep them in place, innit? And Manchester United had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So that was never going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And as soon as Eric Ten Hag came, do you know what I mean? A man that was very sure of himself, he showed Ronaldo the door immediately. You know, like that.
Well, you look in the City, right? Do you think there's a single player that can look over at Pep Guardiola and look down their nose at him for what he's done as a manager, and for anyone who never saw this guy play football, what he was like as a footballer as well? Like,
not at all. But look at his relationship with Kevin De Bruyne. Like, he come out the other day and was like, "Listen, we tell each other to fuck off all the time." Like, you know what I mean? Because this is what it is. Remember Aguero as well. There was a thing where him and Aguero had an argument, and then Aguero came and apologized to him like during the game. Because he subbed Aguero off. Aguero fucking went mad, and then the player that he brought on scored. I think it might have been Gabby Jesus, and Aguero went down the stairs and apologized to him, and they hugged it out during the game. You know, like that on Sky. Yeah. Like, you don't fucking question Pep. And even he was like, you know what, bruv? Like, head was hot. I'm sorry. You know, like that. And that's, bruv, only someone with the side that, bruv, with the stature of Pep humbles, man. Man went and apologized. One of the greatest strikers ever in Premier League history went down to Pep's like, you know what, man? I fucked up, innit? Like, forgive me.
Damn right. I mean, you think this man's managed the greats of the last 2 decades. You know, you're talking about the Ibrahimoviches, the Messis, the Thierry Henrys, the David Villas, the De Bruynes, the Haalands, the Agueros. This guy can handle egos. This guy handles egos. He's not afraid to drop the ego. And that's why you're right. You've got to be careful. For example, Neymar. Somebody's mentioned Neymar. Neymar's a funny one. Neymar, you could take to your club and it will either be sensationally brilliant or it will be everything that we've just described with the Ronaldo thing.
No, but you know what it is with Neymar? Neymar is the most misunderstood footballer on the planet because it's not an ego thing with Neymar. It's that he's Brazilian and he doesn't care as much as people want him to care. You know what I mean? It's like Ronaldinho. Yeah. Ronaldinho's my GOAT, innit? And him and Neymar have one thing in common. They're not serious. And this is just what it is. Like, Neymar is super humble. He's not egotistical. He's just super laid back to the point. It's like he'll never be what you want him to be because his why is not the same as yours. Do you know what I mean? Like, Cristiano Ronaldo is driven by Ballon d'Or, trophies, being the best. And Neymar just wants to be happy. He doesn't care where it is, bruv. Neymar will go kick ball in fucking Mexico or something.
That's why I said it's dangerous. That's why I said it's dangerous because you know you're getting a world-class footballer.
Yeah.
But are you getting the 100% every game, or is it when he feels like it? Right?
You're not, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Neymar is a vibes player. And that's why to get the best out of Neymar, you just have to say, you know what, it's your pitch. You know what I mean? And everyone else is just whatever. Do what you want, bruv. Like, that's how you get the best out of him. I'll be real. Like, if I'm Neymar's manager, I'm just saying, you know what, my G, yeah? You're my guy, innit? Like, go out there and win me games, bro. And I'm telling everyone on the team that, you know what? Like, Neymar's the guy. We've all got a very, very, very important role to play in this getting the ball to Neymar, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like some players are like that. It was like Cantona at Man United. Bro, just give Eric the ball, bro. That's what Ferguson used to say. Give the ball to Eric, bro. It's not tactics.
If we're talking about 100%, there are 1,000 people in here. Get this guy to 700 likes. There are 1,000 people. 700 likes is very, very doable. Smash the likes, help the algorithm, man. This man works hard.
Yeah, you lot smash the likes.
Hard, Rants.
And you lot putting this shit in the chat, about being sports saying that the Qataris have won. And listen, until I see it, don't put it in the chat. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't do this to me. Because it's the hope that kills you, innit? So don't do it. I'm telling you. Do not do it, bruv. Like, when I see the gold across the screen, then I'll believe it. Until then, don't you dare. Do you know what I'm saying?
Did you see today that Man City have opened up talks again with Vardial?
Yeah, they'll get him this time. And Chelsea actually bid like...
Was it like 85, 90 million or something ridiculous for it? Yeah.
And I bet you City don't pay that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just interested me. And Newcastle just signed someone as well. I don't know who it is. Player from Dents, but don't know who that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They've signed, Fabrizio Romano's just said, Newcastle completed the signing of talented 2004 born winger Yankuba Minta from Odense on long-term deal for 7 million. And the 18-year-old Gambia winger will be loaned out to Feyenoord for the year.
So that means they got some smart people involved at Newcastle as well.
Buying players in. You watch. It'll be 7 million. They'll send him out for a year. It'll come back. It'll be worth about 40. You watch.
Yeah.
And there you go. You got someone from Gambia in your chat. There you go.
Hey, big up, man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, listen. I appreciate all of you. Look, let's get us up to 700. With these takeover talks, I'm not trying to get too carried away. I genuinely believe that it will go the way we want it to go, but until it happens, I can't. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't allow it. I've been hurt too many times, bro. Like, I mean, I'm a broken man, so like it's one of them things where we're gonna wait in it. Like, if the takeover goes the way I want it to go, oh my days. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a long summer for a lot of people. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's I'm interested to see what happens because there's a lot changing in many football clubs this summer.
This is the weirdest transfer window ever, isn't it? Like, everyone's going to Saudi Arabia. Like, it's like there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're at a crossroads where a lot of the guys that we grew up watching are coming to the end of their career. Yeah. And you know what I mean? It's weird, man.
Yeah, I said on my show this morning, I find it really sad that I'm not going to see Lionel Messi in Europe anymore. You know, that era for the last, what has he been, 17 years in Europe has come to an end. So, hey, that's getting older, Rants. And unfortunately, these things happen. But yeah, I think that the transfer window doesn't actually open until Thursday, right? But it's gone mad already. People are signing and there's lots of big names being talked about. Do you reckon Rice is on the move? Do you reckon Rice is going to leave this week?
Yeah, I saw Arsenal? A video that Declan said to some kid that he's not leaving, but he has to say that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for Declan to stay. Now he's won a trophy at West Ham. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, he's a Chelsea fan. But listen, when you play for a club long enough, you become a fan of that club, innit? Like, Anton Ferdinand's still a West Ham fan. Rio's a Man United fan now. Do you know what I mean? But he would have been a West Ham fan when he was there, just like his brother. So it's one of them ones where Declan's won a trophy at West Ham. As a West Ham fan, bro, he's achieved his dream, bro. Like you've won a trophy with your club. What else can you do?
Yeah, I agree. It's the perfect time to leave. If your last ever game is winning a European trophy and lifting it. But yeah, whoever gets him, good luck to them. I think a couple of clubs going to want him. I reckon he stays in England. And yeah, good luck to the guy. Good luck to him. He's
absolutely.
Good. I said the word good, by the way. I said good.
Yeah. Big up Omar for the super chat, man. We'll definitely look out for them players. But yeah, it looks like Newcastle been doing their homework. which is great. And he said the Qatar bid is so close to the Emir that it's almost has to be a success in the future for United. Listen, if it happens, it'll be amazing. I know someone said something about Mason as well, but I haven't seen any official news, so like I'm not gonna speculate on that. We just have to wait and see what happens. But ultimately, this could end up being a very, very big week for the club. So I just need to keep my eyes out in it. But hopefully we get an answer soon, because I don't want the window to open and we don't know who the owner is or what's going on. So do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing like that bid is going in from Man United for a couple of weeks now for Mason Mount, but it doesn't feel like it's quite materialized.
Yeah, nothing has happened yet, so we just need to wait and see. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's it. So no, big up everyone inside. Amazing show, amazing interaction as usual. Make sure you follow Sava. I know a lot of you have. The link to his channel is in the chat. How's your week looking? You got anything that you need to plug?
I mean, I'm doing a show every morning. I do a Q&A show every morning at 10 a.m. where people can just ask whatever they want, and then it just descends into lots of debates. I do that by myself, no guests.
Amazing.
Just because, you know. And then every day at 4 p.m., most days 4 p.m., doing the transfer update show as long as there's been enough transfers. And then my main show is on a Sunday. But I'm 130 away from 6K. If anyone would be so kind, I really would appreciate that. I'm putting in some graft. I'm working hard. And I think you'll always find me honest. So if anyone does want to jump over, please do. Much love.
Amazing people. So now big up, man, for your continued support on the channel. And I'll catch you guys back here in a bit.